My story is a map because it gets distorted and it isn't always perfect. That represents my story because, like distortion, I am not perfect and neither is my work. But this year, as I write my story, I will get help to become 100% professional in all subjects. Also, this is an example of me writing my story because even though we all strive to be the best we can be, we are always going to have mistakes. We also have our mountains in our map because without a landform, you just have a land that is just boring. What I mean by that is that our mountains are our problems as we write our story, and nobody wants an old plain story, which is why nobody wants flat land. Overall, what I'm trying to say is that everybody's story will be unique and different. We all have different mountains and landforms. My story is a blank page because as I write my story, people get to see me grow and get to see my ups and downs. Also, my story is a blank page because my story keeps getting better as I learn my lessons throughout the year. Another reason why my story is a blank page is because this year is the year I will try new things. One example is that I tried out for junior thespians. I also tried out for dance team and made it. Also, I am planning to join flag troop this year. Also, I am happy that this year we start to write our story because this year is the year to try new things and to step outside of our comfort zone. My story is an experiment because without asking a question to start off the experiment, you won't be able to go anywhere and get better. What this means is that you can't start to do anything, like researching the actual experiment, until you have a question to answer. By this I mean that before you start writing your story, you need to know what type of person you are. Are you a procrastinator or a get it done as soon as you get it type of person? This means that if you know you're a procrastinator, then maybe this year your story will be different and filled with no procrastination stations along the way. My story is a mathematical problem because without knowing the basics, it will be hard to do the rest. What I'm trying to say is that if you don't know or haven't realized that 7th grade is a lot more responsibility than 6th grade, then you clearly need to realize that. And if not, then your story will just be a downhill spiral of bad things. Also, what I'm trying to say is that you really do need to pay attention to the things you learn every day in class. Because at the beginning of the lessons, you might have something that builds off the next lesson. And if you don't know the beginning of the lesson, then how will you understand the rest of the lesson? Without knowing the beginning, it will be hard to know the rest. My story is translation because if you got one thing wrong and learn how to fix it, it will help you learn two more things a lot easier. By this I mean that if you got one mistake on a test and you know that that question you got wrong on the test will be on the next test, then you will know two things: the answer from the old test and the answer from the new one. What I mean by that is that as we write our story, we learn from our first mistake and then we learn to never do it again. Overall, writing our story is a crucial part to our year.